For many of us who grew up looking at the stars and watching NASA missions unfold on grainy television screens, the idea of peering into the deepest corners of the universe always felt more like science fiction than fact. We remember the awe of the moon landing, the excitement of space shuttle launches, and the curiosity stirred by the Hubble Space Telescope's early images. Now, in the twilight of our own years, a new chapter of cosmic exploration is unfolding, this time with the most powerful space observatory ever created, the James Webb Space Telescope. After decades of anticipation, countless design iterations, and years of careful deployment and calibration, Webb is finally delivering on its promise. Among its most thrilling revelations to date is a fresh look at a familiar giant, Betelgeuse, the glowing red star sitting prominently in Orion's shoulder, visible from Earth on clear winter nights. For generations, Betelgeuse has been an object of fascination, and even a bit of folklore. It's a name many of us recognize from astronomy books, documentaries, or perhaps from simply lying under the stars with our children or grandchildren, pointing out constellations. Betelgeuse is not just a star. It's one of the biggest and brightest we can see with the naked eye. It's a red supergiant, roughly 1,400 times larger than our own Sun. If it were placed in the center of our solar system, it would extend past the orbit of Jupiter. That kind of scale is almost incomprehensible, even when you've lived long enough to see the world go from rotary phones to pocket-sized supercomputers. But what makes Betelgeuse so intriguing right now isn't just its size, it's its behavior. In recent years, astronomers noticed it behaving very oddly, dimming significantly in brightness. To many scientists, that was the first clue that something big might be happening, maybe even the early signs of a supernova. The idea of witnessing a supernova with the naked eye from Earth is something many astronomers only dream of. The last time it happened was more than 400 years ago, before Galileo ever pointed a telescope at the heavens. In the case of Betelgeuse, the dimming that occurred around 2019 and 2020 was so dramatic, many experts thought it might finally be happening. This cosmic titan was collapsing, preparing to explode. The thought of such a rare celestial event occurring in our lifetime was thrilling, and it brought with it a wave of theories and urgent observation efforts. However, as time passed and the star stabilized, no supernova came. The universe had teased us. Scientists were left with a mystery. Why had Betelgeuse dimmed so suddenly and so deeply, only to return to something close to its former glow? This is where the James Webb Space Telescope entered the picture. Designed to observe the universe in infrared light, something our eyes can't see, but which reveals the heat and structure behind the visible, Webb was launched with the express goal of uncovering the universe's hidden layers. Finally, after years of waiting and billions of dollars in investment, we had a tool that could look not just at stars, but inside them, metaphorically speaking. When Webb trained its golden eye on Betelgeuse, the results were breathtaking. What it captured wasn't just a clearer image, it was a revelation. The telescope showed that the star's surface was far from peaceful. Instead of appearing like a slowly fading celestial elder, Betelgeuse was alive with activity. Massive, bright regions, turbulent gas eruptions, and swirling clouds of matter being ejected into space. Imagine a landscape of fire and fury on a scale that makes Earth look like a speck of dust. That's what Webb saw. This activity may explain the dimming seen earlier. It turns out, Betelgeuse had likely expelled an enormous cloud of gas and dust, which drifted between us and the star, blocking part of its light. Far from dying quietly, Betelgeuse was throwing tantrums. These massive eruptions, known as stellar mass ejections, are the star's way of shedding material, a chaotic prelude to whatever final act it has in store. The dimming wasn't a death knell. It was more like a dramatic sigh from a titan in turmoil. This discovery has sent ripples through the scientific community. For decades, the life cycle of massive stars has been fairly well understood, at least in theory. A star like Betelgeuse should burn brightly, expand into a red supergiant, then eventually collapse and explode in a supernova, scattering its enriched elements across the galaxy. But Webb's observations suggest that the final stages of this process are far more complex than previously thought. It's not a straight path from brightness to explosion. There are violent detours, flare-ups, and unexpected phases of instability that may last years or even centuries. To us, living on Earth and watching from afar, these stellar outbursts are awe-inspiring, but they also remind us of our connection to the cosmos. Every atom of iron in your blood, every bit of calcium in your bones, every molecule of oxygen in your lungs, those elements were forged in the heart of a dying star. In a way, looking at Betelgeuse now is like looking back in time, witnessing the kind of event that made our very existence possible. These are the origins of life, scattered across the galaxy by explosions of unimaginable power. If Betelgeuse does eventually explode, whether next year, next century, or a million years from now, it would become visible even during the daytime. For weeks. It wouldn't pose any threat to Earth given its distance, but it would be one of the most extraordinary sights humanity has ever witnessed. For those of us who've lived through the rise of modern astronomy, seeing such an event in our own sky would be a crowning wonder, a moment to tell our grandchildren about for generations to come. But even if that supernova never happens in our lifetimes, the James Webb Space Telescope has already given us a gift. It has opened a window not just into the life of a single star, but into the very nature of how the universe evolves. From distant galaxies forming just after the Big Bang to planets orbiting stars far beyond our reach, Webb is uncovering the stories written in light across the cosmos. Its ability to detect faint infrared signals allows it to peer into the birthplaces of stars and planets, and perhaps even identify worlds that could support life. For many of us who have watched science fiction become reality, this moment feels deeply meaningful. We are now living in a time when humanity is not just reaching for the stars, but finally understanding them. Every observation Webb makes is another step toward unlocking the mysteries of existence. It's no longer just about what's out there. It's about who we are, where we came from, and what our future might hold. So what do you think of this astonishing new image of Betelgeuse, captured by a telescope that represents the pinnacle of human ingenuity? Are we seeing the final moments of a great star's life, or is there still more to uncover in its turbulent story? Either way, the universe continues to surprise and inspire, reminding us that discovery has no age limit. Whether you're 65 or 95, it's never too late to be amazed by the stars. And if you want to keep up with the unfolding journey of the cosmos, stick around. There's so much more to come.